In your life, you will feel there are points where you can't keep going. You lose your vision. And what will keep you going? When you can understand in every single situation, in every single experience, event, and emotion of life, there is a meaning. When you have meaning, you can continue. If you are successful, but you don't have meaning, you will become extremely disappointed.
Thank you so much, everyone, for coming. Are you happy to be here? Yes. Me too. Boston is -10 at the moment. But for more spiritual reasons, I'm so happy to be here with you again for Gita Jayanti and to share with you, to discuss with you, to learn with you, and to be inspired with you by Krishna's immortal words of wisdom. The message of the Gita is very, very simple. It's very simple, but you have to open your heart. The essence of the Bhagavad-gita is simple. Ma sucha. Don't worry about anything. And therefore the Gita's message is very, very simple, very, very beautiful. So other day I was holding the Gita thinking, what shall I share with all of you? And as I was holding the Gita, this beautiful book we have here, translated by Srila Prabhupada, I was remembering Arjuna. And I was thinking, unless we have the desperation of Arjuna, look at Arjuna, his tears, his dejection, his disappointment. Srila Prabhupada says his depression. Unless we have that in our heart, we won't be able to understand the Gita. They say when you're happy, you hear the music. But when you're desperate, you hear the lyrics. Isn't it? So, Arjuna was desperate. He was right next to Krishna, very close to Krishna, but still no solutions. Don't think that just being close to Krishna is enough. Culturally, you may be close to Krishna. Geographically, you may be close to Krishna. But if you don't hear from Krishna, Krishna says you'll be lost. And therefore, Arjuna is lost. He has this depression. And what does he say?
Na cha shaknomyavasthatum
Bhramativa cha me manaha nimitani cha pashyami viparitani Keshava. I didn't just choose this verse because it has Keshava in it, by the way. Just a disclaimer there. Brahmativa. Arjuna is saying, I'm completely lost. I'm completely desperate. Vipari tani Keshava. In all directions, I'm looking at life and I see no meaning. I see no purpose. How can I continue on? Arjuna is saying, I'm reeling in grief. And therefore, unless we understand this desperation, unless we embody this desperation, you can't read the Gita. Therefore, people have the Gita. Some of them read the Gita, but few understand it because you have to be desperate. Today, I want to share with you that there will be a point in everyone's life where you feel that desperation. There will be a point in life when you have your Arjuna moment, this moment. And what will keep you going? Arjuna can't keep going. But after hearing the Gita, he can keep going. In your life, you will feel there are points where you can't keep going. You lose your vision. And what will keep you going? Today we're going to have a variety of flavors. Some things I will say hopefully will be inspiring. Some things will be educational. Some things will be funny. But some things will be shocking. And today I'm going to begin by sharing one of the shocking moments in history with all of you. This is a map of Germany. This is a map of Germany in the 1940s. As you can see, in this map of Germany and the surrounding countries, there are a series of yellow dots. Do you know what each one of these yellow dots represents? Each one of these yellow dots represents a concentration camp, a death camp. We have to face up to the fact that there was a point in history where one group of people thought that another group of people, namely in this case the Jewish people, were not human, that they were in some way polluting the rest of the population, and this one group of people had to be killed. And therefore, death camps were opened up, thousands of them. In some of these death camps, 1,000 people were killed every single day. This is shocking. How could this happen in the history of the world? People saw their mother, their father, sometimes their own children, sometimes their brothers, sisters, their friends killed right before their eyes. This is one of those death camps, Auschwitz. In this place, 1 million Jewish people were killed. Trains would arrive on these train tracks, and they would go through that entrance. And when people would come off the trains, they would line up. And at the end of the line, some of them would go left, and some of them would go right. The ones who went left were killed on that very day. And the ones who went on the right were given hard labor until they were no longer useful, and then they were killed. A rare few people survived this experience, and one of those people became very famous. His name was Viktor Frankl. He witnessed his whole family die in front of him. He witnessed the most desperate of situations. He witnessed the most shocking things, but he survived. And after he came out, he asked himself the question, what keeps us going? What keeps us going through the roller coaster journey of life? And he realized there's only one thing that man needs. Man needs meaning. When you have meaning, when you have purpose, when you can understand in every single situation, in every single experience, event, and emotion of life, there is a meaning. When you have meaning, you can continue. Arjun has lost his meaning, so he can't continue. In our life, we may lose our meaning and feel we can't continue. Therefore, meaning is the most important thing. Please take a look.
Auschwitz, the Nazi death camp where more than 1 million people, mainly Jews, were murdered. People with families and friends. Ordinary people robbed of their future. Each had their own unique story of how they came to be at Auschwitz. Only a minority survived. And today, decades later, very few can explain what happened there
Most of us have never been in the concentration camp experience. We've never had to go through that horror and tragedy, and so one would think that today it would be easier to find meaning in life, and yet I sense that it's more difficult in a sense today than it was in years past. Do you think that?
You are absolutely right.
Well, why is that?
Because we are living in a society, either in terms of an affluent society or in terms of a welfare state, as we in Austria are living in. Anyway, these types of societies virtually, or at least they are out virtually to satisfy and gratify each and every human need, except for one need, the most basic and fundamental need operant in man, the need for meaning. Consumer societies even creating needs, but the need for meaning, or as I'm used to referring to it, the will to meaning remains unfulfilled. It's what I'm used to calling recently the unheard cry for meaning. You scarcely will find any reference to what is the most fundamental and basic concern of man. Neither pleasure nor happiness, nor power or prestige, but originally and basically his wish, his desire to find and fulfill a meaning in his life, or for that matter, in each single life situation confronting him. And if there is a meaning to fulfill, if he's aware, if he becomes cognizant of such a meaning, then he's ready to suffer, he's ready to offer sacrifices, he's ready to undergo tensions, stress, and so forth, without any harm being done to his health.
The soul is looking for meaning. Viktor Frankl here, who you heard speaking, said he could survive even the most shocking of situations because in everything he was seeing that there was meaning. Later on, he wrote this book, Man's Search for Meaning. And it's very relevant to us today because the Bhagavad-gita is Arjun's search for meaning. And more importantly, for us, the Bhagavad-gita is our search for meaning. Now you may say, well, you're talking about meaning. Of course I have meaning. I've been living so many years in this life. I've been achieving things, doing things. Of course I have meaning. Today, I would invite you to ask yourself a deep question. Do I have meaning? Do I really have deep meaning? And in order to explore this, I'm going to do an experiment with all of you. Are you ready for an experiment? Are you really enthusiastic? Okay, so I want you to give a massive round of applause to my friend Rick. He's going to come on stage. Give him a round of applause. Louder, louder. We're going to do some experiments on the truth to see whether we actually have meaning.
Right, so, ladies and gentlemen, as Maharaj just said, we're all searching for something. And today, we're going to uncover one of life's greatest mysteries, what we're searching for. So, through the experiments, and with Maharaj's guidance, we'll figure this out. But first, I want to draw your attention to this table. Camera 3, please. And here we have a whole bunch of different letters, a whole assortment, as you can see. Now I need a member of the audience to help me pick some of these random letters, because on one side are the letters, on the other side are things that people attach meaning to. It could be anything. It could be caring for the public, it could be caring for nature, all sorts of things. Perhaps, madam, would you mind helping me? That's okay. Please give her a round of applause. If you're at the front, I probably will pick you. So let's gather these up. So here we go. Well, that's okay. Thank you. Right, and your name is? Parita. Okay, nice to meet you, Parita. Okay. Right, so as I said, on one side are all of the things that people attach meaning to, right? And then on the other side are the letters. All I need you to do is just to say stop. Right there? Okay, so we choose one here. Let's do that again. We'll do that a few times. And again. Right there? Okay, and over here. Just going to give it a quick shuffle too. Okay, and this time, I just want you to say stop. Again. Yeah? Okay, put one there. And then just one more time. Quicker. Right there? Okay. So we'll take that there. So there we go. We've got 4 random things that people attach meaning to, as you can see, in life. Thank you so much for your help. If you give our friend a round of applause, please. So Maharaj, what does this mean?
Can you read it out? What is the meaning that they ascribe?
A successful career, caring for family, teaching others, adventure and travel.
According to Bhagavad-gita, this is not the meaning. These are useful, these are noble, and these can be utilized. But to understand meaning, you have to go deeper. You have to look at what's behind all of this. You have to look at what all of this is aimed towards. And therefore, I would suggest that if you really want to find meaning, what you need to do is turn those cards around.
I see. Can we get the camera 3 again? Thank you so much. So let's go deeper behind all these things. Oh, it all starts to make sense. It all makes sense. Thank you, Marge.
Another round of applause for Rick.
Okay.
There you have it, folks. Krishna is talking to us today. If you really want to find meaning, then you have to look beyond just the immediate goals that you have. In the Bhagavad-gita, Krishna is explaining through conversations. The Bhagavad-gita is 18 chapters long, isn't it? And how many verses? 700. From chapter 1 to chapter 18. There are different conversations going on. The outermost conversation is between Dhritarashtra and Sanjaya. And that begins in the very first verse, and that conversation ends in 1878. But then there is a conversation inside of that. And that conversation is between Arjuna and Krishna. And that begins in 27 and ends in 1873. But did you know there's a conversation even between this? And this is the conversation between the soul and God. This conversation, the first one, is the outer conversation. That takes place in Hastinapur. This one is the inner conversation. That takes place in Kurukshetra. But this is the ultimate conversation, and this takes place in the heart. Because in every single person's heart, at one point there will be a doubt. And at one point there will be questions of meaning. Who am I? What am I doing? And what's the ultimate goal of all of these things that I'm working so hard for? That doubt will come to everyone. And you know what 99.9% of people will do? Is they will ignore the doubt and just carry on with life. But 0.001% will explore the doubt. They'll question the doubt. And they'll turn to the conversation of the Bhagavad-gita to find answers, to find out how to resolve their doubt, and to find meaning. Because remember, if you have meaning, you can deal with anything in life. If you're successful, but you don't have meaning, you will become extremely disappointed. And if you go through pain, but you have meaning, then you will emerge as a very wise soul. And therefore, Bhagavad-gita doesn't begin until and unless there is Jijñāsā, unless there is inquisitiveness and curiosity, unless there is a search for meaning. And so, what we will explore today is how Krishna will give Arjuna meaning. And to answer the question, what is my meaning, you have to answer 5 other questions. You have to answer the question, who am I? Where am I? Why am I here? How long am I here for? And what is beyond all of this? If you understand the answers to these 5 questions, which are given by Krishna in the 5 topics of the Gita, you will understand your meaning. And when you understand your meaning and you wake up in life, you will see life in a completely different way. And therefore, this is what we will do today. We will begin with Jijñāsā, and we will go through each one of these 5 topics.